Welcome to JohnOkinaga.com presents Ask Dr. O. In today's video, we will be addressing depression. Here are some COVID-related factors for the rise in depression: trauma from widespread disease, grief over loss of life, fear of getting sick, unprecedented physical distancing, financial concerns including unemployment and housing insecurity, loss of community, and reduced access to caregivers. If there's one stat that terrified me the most, it was 75% of 18 to 24-year-olds are saying that they struggle with depression or anxiety, and 25% have thought of suicide. Just a reminder, I'm here to present information, provide practical advice that's biblically informed, and I'm not here to fix anyone. Tomorrow is a new day. Just because it was rough today doesn't mean it's going to be rough tomorrow. Whatever happened today, the emotions, thoughts, and moods doesn't have to be there tomorrow. Maybe you had a tough time just getting out of bed or doing anything on your goal list. Show yourself grace and realize that some days are going to suck. Be excited and start looking forward for tomorrow and a fresh start. One of my favorite hymns growing up was The Steadfast Love of the Lord. It goes, "The steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. Your mercies never come to an end. They are new every morning, new every morning. Great is your faithfulness, O Lord. Great is your faithfulness." Number two, don't believe the negative lies that is dominating your mind. In my anxiety video, I shared about rational thoughts versus irrational thoughts. The same applies for struggles with depression. Our mind may be telling us that we are unworthy or a piece of garbage or no one likes us. The sooner you realize that those are unbiblical thoughts, you can combat it with biblical truth. When our identity is based on the fact that we are children of God and He created us in His image, we realize that God doesn't create garbage. Address each of the negative and unbiblical thoughts. If you need someone to help you distinguish what is true from what is false, talk to someone. Number three, set SMART goals. They're specific, simple, sensible, significant, measurable, meaningful, and motivating, achievable, agreed, and attainable, relevant, reasonable, realistic, and resource results based, and time bound, time based, time limited, time cost limited, timely, and time sensitive. I encourage those that I work with to set daily SMART goals. In the beginning, it's super simple: pray, read the Bible, and be of service to others. I'll go into further detail about service a little later. I also encourage those I work with to remember the KISS acronym. Keep it simple, stupid. Don't have a goal of running a marathon by the weekend. Start off with running a mile. When you've accomplished some of the smaller goals, move on to bigger ones. It helps to keep your mind focused on goals that will bring God praise, glory, and honor, and less time focusing on self. Number four, have a routine. Sometimes depression can impact the most simple routines, like waking up on time. It is so easy to just lay in bed, hitting the snooze button over and over and over again. So make a schedule and stick to it. This can be one of the SMART goals that you start up with. You don't have to plan out every single minute of the day, but it helps. There are going to be days that you just look at your schedule and think, just a few more hours and I can relax and watch Netflix. For some of you, calendars could be the cause of some of your stress. Nicole looks at my calendar some days and asks, "How do you fit so much into your day? You don't really have a real job anymore, but your days are more packed now than before." While I may be a little sad I don't have a full-time position, my routine helps me out tremendously. It reminds me that while my plans fell through, God is still using me for His glory. I'm not scattered or disorganized. I'm just doing whatever God puts in front of me. Number five, have fun. Go outside or exercise. There are times that depression can run us into the ground, feelings of being tired and fatigued. One of the ways I found super helpful is doing things I love. When I'm feeling down and out, I call my sister and ask to spend time with her kids. Seeing them run around, laugh, giving me hugs, that makes me smile. Ben will come over and play Super Smash Brothers, and while I can't play for long, those 15 to 30 minutes are treasured memories. Another thing I do for fun is watch Yankee baseball games. It's the only sport I can really watch from start to finish without getting bored. These are just a few examples of what fun looks like for me. Spending time outdoors in the sun is one of the ways that God's creation can influence defeating depression. There are numerous studies that show those who spend time outdoors have better mental health. Being exposed to sunlight is huge. I take my dog for walks twice a day, throw the ball with him in the backyard, and make it a point to get at least 1 hour a day outdoors. If there are days that you don't want to get out of bed, go and exercise. It can be a simple walk around the block. Believe it or not, I was a CrossFit and martial arts junkie. Some days I would spend 3 to 5 hours in the gym or dojo. While it wasn't the only cure for my issues, it helped because I was around people who were like minded and helped me with relieving some of my depression symptoms. Number six, you are what you eat and drink. I wish there's a magic pill, food, or drink that will make depression go away forever. It doesn't exist. But what you eat and drink will influence how you feel. And FYI, alcohol is a depressant. If you're struggling with depression, it isn't your best choice to drink your sorrows away. Other things that you might want to limit is sugar, caffeine, and soda. It actually makes things worse. What you should do is start with a balanced diet of veggies, lean meats, and healthy grains. Talk to your nutritionist for a more detailed diet. Number seven, get sleep. Lack of sleep does crazy things to our mind. Here's what a sleep RN sent me when I was going through struggles with sleep. Trust me, our mind plays crazy tricks on us when we don't get enough rest. Number one, try to stay awake. If you have to nap, do so before 2 p.m. and limit it to 30 minutes. If you nap longer, you'll get REM sleep and it will delay sleep onset. Number two, no matter what, develop a consistent wake up time even on days off. We can't really control falling asleep, but controlling wakefulness helps strengthen sleep drive over the day. Number three, limit caffeine, nothing past 11 or 12. And number four, sleep hygiene, no blue light 1 hour before bed, including television. It throws off the sleep drive as the brain perceives it is time to wake up. Your bed is solely for sleep and sex, nothing else. If you wake up during the night, do not stay in bed longer than 30 minutes. Get out of bed and do something in another room. Your room should be dark, blackout curtains, cool, and quiet. Number five, if you're stressed, set aside worry time to think. Write out all thoughts, but put it away. Number six, expose yourself to light as soon as you wake up. Number seven, prayer, meditation, relaxation. Number eight, exercise early in the morning. And finally, number nine, out of bed as soon as you wake up. No lounging in bed. I've been following the suggestions on the list, and the ones that have helped me the most was no iPad or iPhone in bed, keeping the room very cool. I keep it about 70 degrees, blackout curtains, and if I can't go to sleep, I'll go into the living room and read a book. What's not on the list is I also got a weighted blanket. That's probably been one of the hugest helps for me. Number eight, be of service and have an attitude of gratitude. I've been encouraging those that I work with for years to get out of their heads and stop wallowing in self pity and to help others. My second month of sobriety, I was told to volunteer at a free state run detox called Charlie Street in Southern California. I'll never forget seeing a guy with no legs on the ground mopping the floor. It was his chore to be able to go to the detox. It has been a daily reminder for me of how blessed I am and how much I have to be grateful for. Number nine, prayer. I don't know about you, but the ability and freedom to pray helps me out a lot. There is a peace that surpasses all understanding that happens for me when my prayer life is in order. Realizing that my Father in heaven, who created the universe, takes time to listen and answer all my prayers brings me peace. Yes, He answers all prayers. We just have to accept that sometimes no is the answer. Number 10, what you put into your mind matters. I firmly believe that what we put into our body impacts us, not just with food, but what we read and watch on TV. If you're struggling with depression, it's probably not a good idea to read sad books or watch depressing movies. Fill your mind with things that will bring praise, glory, and honor to God. When I was battling anxiety, I had these irrational thoughts about dying. I couldn't even watch TV shows that had any death in it. It would send my mind spinning. So, what did I do? I read the Bible. Remind yourself who you are in the eyes of God. Filling your mind with the Word of God is never a bad thing. I tell the guys I work with, get off of social media if you're struggling with depression or anxiety. Get your relationships from real people, not digital avatars online. We usually put our best life forward. I post about my dog, not when I'm struggling with life. On the flip side, social media has people only posting what is wrong with life. Both approaches are not healthy. A biblical definition of depression can be found in Deuteronomy 28:65 through 66. There is no rest, no resting place for the soul, a trembling heart, failing of eyes, despair of soul. He is in dread night and day and has no assurances of his life. Biblical examples of the manifestation of depression can be found with King David. In Psalms, he writes about his loneliness, fear of the enemy, anguish, crying over his sins. We also see him devastated with the deaths of his son in 2 Samuel 12:15 to 23. Jeremiah also suffers from insecurity, feelings of defeat, and great loneliness. Cursed be the day I was born. Why did I ever come out of the womb to see trouble and sorrow and to end my days in shame? Jeremiah 20:14 to 18. If you're depressed, you're not weak, you're not crazy, and you're not a machine with broken parts. You are loved by God, and He desires a relationship with you. People are asking, why do we exist? Instead of looking at it from an evolutionary standpoint, let's look at the truth. We are really the loneliest generation. We use smartphones and social media as our quote unquote communities. It is more likely that our teens have most of their friends online playing video games instead of playing sports on teams. A biblical strategy to overcoming depression starts with being part of a community of believers. Dietrich Bonhoeffer's eschatology is that the church should be, quote, Christ existing within community. While in prison, he also wrote, the church is church only when it is there for others. Bonhoeffer's theological and pragmatic claim that Christ exists as community speaks to congregations that are struggling to build those communities. I encourage those that I counsel to have relationships with real people at their church. If your church isn't the best at building a community, start it. Bonhoeffer wrote, we gather and create community, not out of love for one another, but for love of Christ's sake. We have to remember 1 Corinthians 12:12 through 27. All members of the body are necessary. The church should be at the forefront of assisting those that are battling depression. Call on those that are struggling or offer to take them a meal. Remind those struggling that God is still there. Depression is real. It is in the Bible. It is a taboo subject we rarely talk about, and that needs to change.